As Arsenal approach another game in the Champions League, things in the transfer window are also about to get interesting, as Mikel Arteta's men look for a brand new forward. Today we'll get a major update on Matheus Cunha. We'll also get the breaking fitness news of William Saliba, as well as finding out which two players are about to make a return. Yo, what is going on guys? My name is Bats14, welcome back to your boys channel. Into the final 10 days of the transfer window and Arsenal need to make a signing. Things definitely will get interesting. So as per, smash a like on this video if you enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hopefully there is no beeping sound whatsoever. But starting off with a big fitness update. After a very busy month already, where Arsenal have just played 3 games in the space of 9 days, we've got a game coming up tomorrow, the Champions League, the Premier League. Not to forget a second leg in the Carabao Cup semi-final. The squad right now is on bare bones, and after Saliba's injury, we finally have some positive news from Sam Dean, confirming that Ben White, Takehiro Tomiyasu, Ricardo Calafuri and Nwaneri are believed to be nearing returns in the next few weeks. But in terms of Bukayo Saka's absence, it's more long term and he's likely to be out until March. With the star boy, it is what it is, but in more positive news, the fullback department is about to get stronger. Having seen Urian Timber start at centre back against Aston Villa, do a very good job against Ollie Watkins. Even without Saliba, Arsenal have a player there that can deputise. But at right back with Thomas Partey, we know it doesn't work. 6 games on him so far this season there. 6 games that Arsenal failed to win. The return of Benny Blanco, Benjamin White and Tomiyasu will give Arsenal some natural fullbacks again to not only cover the right hand side, but in the case of Tomiyasu also the left, where Arsenal have of course the thriving Matheus Cunha, who has been a revelation this season. You think about the last game against Morgan Rogers, one of the most powerful ball carriers in the entire Premier League, completely bodied by an 18-year-old. Another example of Matheus Cunha showing he's not a normal youngster, with reports now claiming that he's closing into a brand new contract. Arsenal realise how important he is. A lab-made inverted fullback. What's happening in terms of William Saliba? With a report from L'Equipe already confirming, Saliba could be out for at least 2 weeks, which means he misses Arsenal's next 3 home games, as his hamstring strain requires at least 2 weeks rest period. Unlike Saka, it is not a tear, it is simply a strain, but the games he could miss will be decisive. From Man City in the Premier League, to Newcastle in the second leg of the Carabao Cup. With Saliba in the side since 2020-23, Arsenal conceded 0.8 goals per game over an 85 game period, compared to 1.7 per game when he's not featured in 13 matches. The first thing that shows us how available this guy consistently is, how reliable he is for Arsenal at the back, having gone up a new level this season. But without him, when you've got Urian Timber that can play there, the returning Ben White and Tomiyasu, Arsenal are definitely in a better defensive position. But we've also got a positive update from Mikel Arteta, saying Saliba is evolving well. The last few days he's been feeling much better. And in even more positive news, Arteta confirms that Calafuri and Nwaneri are back. They will be available for the game against Dynamo Zagreb. The return of Ethan will be crucial. In an Arsenal attack that is already so lightweight, a returning Nwaneri offers us a much needed game changer. According to Mikel Arteta, he says I like to be challenged, especially passionate. If you're not passionate about what you do, I think I'm a very difficult person to work for, because I'm very demanding. So I need you to love what you do. When he came into Arsenal, one of the first quotes he said is, "We need to learn how to suffer," which for an Arsenal fan base that had so much experience of it, let's just say right now we are kind of suffering. Which might sound weird when you're 13 games unbeaten in the Premier League, you're 3rd in the Champions League group, but when you're knocked out of the FA Cup against Man United, you're 2-0 down in the Carabao Cup. As fans, we are always going to be more emotional. We aren't the people that run the club, so our thought process isn't always rational. There's a demand on Mikel Arteta, and rightly so. 5 years of waiting is a very long time. But I don't think sacking him is anywhere near the solution. Mikel Arteta is not perfect, he definitely has flaws in his game. But in his first ever job as a manager, 5 years into it, 2 of which Arsenal have competed for a title, 3 if you count this season as well. Even without his best player in Bukayo Saka for a matter of 3 months, we are still somewhat fighting for a title. No, we are not perfect, but take away Salah and Van Dijk from Liverpool, they wouldn't be either. And let's not forget, since arriving at Arsenal 5 years ago, Arsenal have only spent the 4th highest in the league, behind Tottenham, United and Chelsea, 2 clubs which are right now on the bottom half. One that's fighting for top 4 after spending 1.7 billion euros. The reality is Arsenal have not spent an extortionate amount of money, yet still after making more good choices than bad ones, our project has been able to get to this stage so far, where you know you're so close to a title, a few changes can get you over the line. But in terms of Arsenal's behind the scenes metrics, there's a concern developing in terms of ball progression. Where in the Premier League so far this season, we are by far the highest team in terms of using the flanks, but with only 3.7% of our ball progression coming from central spaces, compared to Liverpool 7.3 and City 6.5. Arsenal are not using the middle of the park, opting to go out wide to their wingers instead, keeping it safe, constantly caught in a horseshoe formation, circulating the ball without any actual pressure. It's why a lot of Arsenal fans aren't feeling entertained. Where under Arsene Wenger, football is all about being direct, finding spaces down the middle even when they weren't there, with 1-2s and quick pace football. This was further broken down by Jamie Carragher on Sky Sports, showing that Arsenal are actually 19th for chances created in the middle third. But on a graph where you have Ipswich and West Ham in 3rd and 4th, you have to take it with a pinch of salt. Teams, of course, are not going to give Arsenal space centrally. They know the quality of our players, making it a lot harder for Arsenal to go down the middle. But I also think it falls down to philosophy. When you think about our key creator in Martin Odegaard, Mikel Arteta as number 10, a player that's meant to be our Kevin De Bruyne. Odegaard's a player that can create chances, but more with 1-2s and little flicks, rather than a killer passing behind. An issue that Arsenal have right now is a safety-first philosophy, about keeping the ball rather than losing the ball, in the fear that you might get counter-attacked. When you've got Declan Rice defensive midfield, Gabriel and Saliba at the back, we have to trust the defensive quality, use it as extra incentives to take more risks, because we have the quality to win the ball back. But in terms of Odegaard specifically, 0 non-penalty goals this season, only 2 assists as well. With the reports that Arsenal are closing into a new midfielder in Martin Zubimendi, a long-term signing for Mikel Arteta alongside Declan Rice, a player just like Odegaard and the fact that he's a metronome, progressing the ball with smart passes, but not quite the final pass killer. Odegaard's role will soon have to change, becoming less of a number 8 to more of a number 10, trying to give Arsenal extra numbers from midfield. For a player that once scored 15 non-penalty goals, the joint record in Premier League history, he has shown that he has the ability, but with the emergence of Nwaneri, reports also linking us to the likes of Florian Wirtz, I'm sure that Mikel Arteta has an eye on the position. That's where you might have a market opportunity, as according to Fabrizio Romano, Lyon's highly rated Ryan Shaqiri has now got a verbal agreement with Lyon to leave this January for €22 million. It's a verbal pack with the player, not a formal release clause, but it's at the same value, with several clubs keen on the player. Rightly so, by the way, at 21 years of age, what a talent. One of the best technicians coming out of France, an attacking midfielder able to play on both sides, given the freedom to roam the pitch as shown by his heat maps. His numbers are far from electric, with 3 goals and 3 assists this season, but in terms of offering goals to something that we don't already have, we're looking at the ball carrying numbers at 2.2 dribbles per game, a 58% success rate. This level of talent available for 22 million, by many it is seen as a bargain, but with no sign of Arsenal making a move so far. According to Florian Plettenberg, as they're gathering information, it's actually buying that Morrison to play situation, aware is valued at €22 million. It may be one to watch, but in terms of midfield signings, on top of course Martin Zubimendi for summer 2025, the other name that's popped up is Norway's Sven Naipan, who David Ornstein has already confirmed is very keen to join Arsenal. It seems like to me if Arsenal are going to sign a midfielder, it will be a prospect, and Naipan looks the most likely. But in terms of the season itself though, with Arsenal currently 6 points off the title again, with Liverpool still having a game in hand, according to Arsenal legend Emmanuel Petit though, the title race is not over yet, saying we've done the same in 1998. The year that Arsene Wenger won his first ever league title in his second full season, ending the year with 78 points, a point ahead of Man United. If you go off previous years though, Arsenal will require a lot more points this season, next to no room for error remaining. The title race might not be over, but Arsenal will need to be special. So all eyes turn to the transfer market, where according to Sky Sports, Arsenal continue to work hard behind the scenes to see what is possible in terms of recruiting a forward this window. But Arsenal will not panic, they will only go into the market if the finances are right, and the player is the right character for the squad. A strategy that's been a key theme of the entirety of Mikel Arteta's Arsenal reign. Very rarely do Arsenal panic buy, but at the same time we cannot be too comfortable. Liverpool right now might be the team on top, but the recent resurgence of Man City after winning 6-0 on the weekend, a new 9-year contract for Erling Haaland, as well as dropping money on Omar Mamouche, as well as marquee signings like Omar Mamouche, City are set to spend £200 million this January, with reports now even claiming they're looking at a move for Juventus' Douglas Luiz, with Pep Guardiola who has just signed a brand new contract. Right now the focus may be in Liverpool, but we can't forget about City. They will be stronger next season, they will be back, making it even more important for Arsenal to act as soon as possible. So moving on to the forward pursuits. According to Sky Sports' Darmeshev, some of Arsenal's long-term targets are with Champions League clubs, which is making negotiations more challenging. These clubs are reluctant to sell and are likely to demand a premium during the January transfer window, which to any Arsenal fan that knows transfers is no surprise whatsoever. For a club that's trying to get themselves over the line, going for marquee targets that are marquee clubs, you're always going to have to force the hand. Unless of course though the player is able to do so as well, which is where we turn to Wolves' Matheus Cunha, a player that was set to sign a brand new contract after a verbal agreement confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. But now things aren't looking as simple, as Ben Jacobs confirms Arsenal are currently in contact with Cunha's camp, but talks are at an informal stage. Why that is because the contract talks aren't going smoothly, as Jacobs also confirms the renewal talks with Cunha have halted. Wolves are not giving in because they don't want to put in a release clause. That's why he could leave if a good offer comes in, with Arsenal maintaining informal contact for his signing. One of the standout attackers in the Premier League this season with 10 goals and 4 assists in just 21 appearances. A player confirmed by many reliable sources that Arsenal definitely have interest in. 25 years of age in the peak of his powers. A former target of Mikel Arteta from the time that he was back at Atletico Madrid. In Wolves' recent game against Chelsea where they lost 3-1, Wolves' manager Vitor Pereira was not happy with Cunha, saying after the game he's the captain. He can be frustrated as he wants to win, but everyone in the dressing room wants to win as well. I do not like his body language. I understand it now, but I will not understand it next time. Whispers behind the scenes that the agent of the player is trying to look for other moves away. That's where things are getting interesting. As Fabrizio Romano confirms, Cunha is still one to watch in the January window. With the new deal not signed yet, Arsenal remain keen. And according to Alex Crook, the main reason why Cunha hasn't signed a contract is because he wants a relegation release clause. With contract talks stalling, it seems like things could be happening. And according to Team Losing Ticks, Arsenal have agreed personal terms with Cunha. Cunha has agreed personal terms with Arsenal, but has also agreed terms on a new Wolves contract. However, he's refusing to sign it due to Arsenal's interest. The player really wants Arsenal and is pushing to make it happen. A player that has the same agent as Gabriel Magalhaes. According to more reports coming out of the UK, it is now looking more than likely that Cunha will depart Wolves this window. Then he will stay, because Cunha is keen to leave. With reports claiming that Arsenal are the favourites to sign Cunha, even though Newcastle and Chelsea want him, the player said he wants to go. With an announcement expected soon of a transfer request, the player is forcing Wolves' hands, which could play a major part in Arsenal getting a deal over the line. But for Arsenal themselves, they also might have another Brazilian target. This time we're talking about 23-year-old Igor Jesus. According to Ben Jacob, Arsenal have joined the race to sign, with the club monitoring the striker this season and holding informal talks. He is seen as an alternative target to Sesko and Evan Ferguson, a player that's played in the UAE but also in Brazil. In a career that he's played 168 games, with 56 goals and 27 assists, he has played across many positions, from playing at right wing to left wing, but mainly as a centre forward. At a price of reportedly at £25 million, the player himself isn't that exciting. While he can be a decent forward, and the idea of replacing Jesus with Jesus is definitely funny, we are at a very tense stage of the project, where instead of signing players that aren't really proven at European football, we have to sign players that raise our level straight away. Igor Jesus may be an option, but I'm sure that a lot of Arsenal fans will not be convinced. But one player that is proven in European football is Juventus' Dusan Vlahovic, a previous long-term target of Mikel Arteta, a player that also once paid over £50 million for. Now, according to reports in Italy, Vlahovic could be leaving Juve very soon. There have been reports that Arsenal do have interest on a loan with the option to buy, but Juve are looking for a more permanent solution. Now, according to reports in the UK, Chelsea are also in the race, as they consider making a move for the striker. With Fabrizio Romano confirming, no contacts have taken place between Chelsea or Juve so far, despite links in the UK. For Arsenal so far to have not made a move for the player, even if they like the profile, it seems like they have their eyes elsewhere. Links to Victor Osimhen in the past few days, reportedly available for £65 million, but the one name that keeps popping up is RB Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko. As Ben Jacob says, Arsenal do have strong interest in Sesko, but it's likely to be a summer saga. We also have interest in Evan Ferguson, but that's only if Brighton sanction an exit, as Arsenal might have to buy or send Neto back to Bournemouth. In terms of Ferguson, we're looking at mainly a loan transfer, a striker with a lot of potential but not quite proven. The issue is Arsenal already have two players on Premier League loans in Raheem Sterling and Neto, the max that you can get in the Premier League. But in terms of the main target himself and Benjamin Sesko, one of the most highly rated young strikers in Europe, 21 years of age with an extremely good record, with 16 goals and assists so far this season, in 25 games. Arsenal aren't the only club after the player, as according to Sacha Tavaleri, we also face competition from Chelsea, who have engaged in talks with representatives recently, and contacted RB Leipzig for initial discussions. The striker is available for £67 million. As things stand, there is no release clause in Sesko's contract, but as Fabrizio Romano has already confirmed, there may be a gentleman's agreement. If the right offer arrives, the player will be allowed to leave. But mid-season and fighting for Champions League, Leipzig will not make it easy. And for Arsenal, it's also a matter of waiting too long. The more that we go into this transfer window, the less time the Leipzig will have to sign a replacement. They may have a top forward in Luis Openda, but without an actual release clause, Arsenal are taking a major risk. Waiting will not go in their favour. But if the price tag is £67 million, for a player that has 92 goals and 23 assists in his 204 game career so far, it actually could be a very good deal. Especially when you look at the current market and you look at Aston Villa's John Duran, a player that West Ham made an offer of £57 million for, which was then rejected. Duran in comparison only has 37 goals so far in 150 games. For Arsenal, the clock is starting to tick. Must-win games coming thick and fast. A new forward is compulsory. As we approach the final 10 days of the window, there needs to be a bomber. With the Cunha situation being the most intriguing one, I expect a lot of movement in the next few days. The focus now turns to the Champions League, where Arsenal will play their final home game against Dinamo Zagreb, with Arsenal currently 5th in the Champions League group stages, but with the ability to climb back to 3rd with another win, and all but secure a place in the Champions League knockouts. It also means that Arsenal would avoid any playoff round, which in a season that's already so busy, could give our players some vital rest going into the business end of the season. In terms of the team news itself, with Arteta already confirming the return of Nwaneri and Calafiori, both players will be a part of the squad, but I don't see them starting. But in a game that Mikel Arteta will see as must win, not only a chance to secure a place in the knockouts, but also give a much needed mood booster, I expect a very strong lineup. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy on all of his social medias, then the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal transfer news ahead of a massive game against Dynamo Zagreb, but also a massive few days for Arsenal, their season and their project. They need a new signing, we need a new bomber, so we'll see what happens and I'll see you guys very soon. Until then, take care, in a bit.